Welcome viewers to another edition of Brave Namibia, where we celebrate both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. In our first clip today, Nankali Kawanga chats to fellow journalist and influencer Pukuu Rijatua.
Hello viewers, my name is Nikanor Shipanga, more popularly known as Pukuu. So my journey through YouTube started as a hobby of creating content. I was always very interested in the digital space. I was always interested in taking pictures, taking videos, creating. I loved fashion, I loved beauty, I loved lifestyle, and I used to watch so many YouTube videos from, of course, outside the country because our YouTube landscape here was so big at the time. And then I wondered, why don't I open up my own YouTube channel?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into another one of my videos.
Fun,
I
and
know
I
it
just
has been
had a
a
good
while since
time
I've
creating. I liked being a creator, so that is how the journey began. Work has definitely been a huge added plate to my already big plate, but like I always say, influencing sort of came from content creation, and content creation has always been a hobby. So it's something that I do in my free time. It's something that doesn't feel like work. It's something that I enjoy doing. So I never really viewed it as like quote unquote work. But the biggest way to balance for me is just prioritizing time management, planning out your days, planning out your weeks, and making sure that you get to fit everything that you like doing in a good period of time. Having an academic background of course, I graduated from, I got an honors degree in media studies, majored in PR and advertising. And in this, we definitely got exposed to different types of media, communications, all the things behind the camera. And starting out, I was a TV presenter since I was about 15, 16 for NBC. So when I got into uni, I saw now the background of like the practical. So it was definitely very interesting connecting like what you're doing to the theory behind it. And I think if anything, it made me more interested in perfecting my craft and finding better ways to create my content and put my content out there. And just it definitely made it more fun because it's like, hey, now I get to study what I'm already doing. So it was pretty cool. I definitely think a challenge that I have faced in building my personal brand was mainly just filtering out a lot of outside noise, a lot of outside influences. I think for me, a challenge has definitely been just knowing what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I've overcome that by just sticking to doing what I've always done. From the time that I started to now, I'm literally doing the same thing. My content is basically pretty much centered around the same. And I just feel like that all boils down to authenticity and staying true to yourself and doing what you like minus the outside noise. In journalism today, that I focus on is youth news, youth-centric news, anything to do with young people, anything to do with young people growing, thriving in the different spaces that they're in. So I feel like there isn't much of a connection there because it's more of news and just getting these stories out there, whereas my personal page and brand is more on me. So I don't think there's a big connection there. I feel like a big moment for me was when I realized that what I did for fun, my personal hobbies, I wasn't always an influencer, quote unquote. Like, that was never my brand. It was more of just me taking pictures of everything and videos of everything. So I think a big moment for me was when big corporate companies approached me to have partnerships, to have these deals. I mean, you grow up, you drink Monster Energy every day, and you like this energy drink. Now, all of a sudden, Monster Energy wants to partner up with you and have, have you on board, and getting in touch with these big brands, traveling Namibia with NWR, like stuff like that. Just knowing that my content relates so much and that people actually recognize the relationship that I have with my following base is so beautiful to share, and have those moments of being a creator, being recognized for creating, and having these brands interested in growing your brand and also tapping into different markets, because I feel like that is a big growing industry, the influencer industry. And I feel like regardless of the amount of followers that you have and the reach that you have, just acknowledging the fact that this is actually a industry that is growing, and that these people have connections with people all around them, and that corporate companies want to tap into that market. Like I said, content creation is a hobby. It's really fun for me. I don't feel like it's a job. I don't feel like it's anything that I go out of my way to do. It's just something that I do for fun and in my everyday life. So I think it's a perfect balance with what I already do, because it's like you at work and then you after hours. So I feel like if you are already in the journalism space, you obviously already appreciate media. You are going to be working with cameras, behind and in front of cameras. I think that journalism is a great place to start, not only for your career and putting all of these stories out there, but also for your personal brand. If you're interested in growing your personal brand, use what you're already doing as an advantage. Use your traveling, you're creating, you're writing, try to tap that into your own personal brand and see how you can leverage that. You have camera trainings, you have recordings that you go on. Try to see how can you use what you have to grow your brand and learn around that. I definitely see myself studying ahead. I want to move away from journalism and go more into communications and PR. I think that's where my passion really lies. In terms of YouTube, just pushing the Namibian market, pushing Namibian creators to be on the platforms that essay creators are reaching, for example. Going into YouTube Black, having those spaces and really growing the brand and making people more aware of these creative industries. And that was me for Brave Namibia.
Next, we head to Katima Malilo, home of Letti Hashiyana. This teaching students who are in need to promote language in the community to broaden their vocabulary. Letti and her friends recently held a national quiz master and spelling bee in Ongwediva. Aldo Horn has more.
Hello guys, hello everyone. My name is Letti Hashiyana. I am 23 years old and I'm one of the founders of National Quiz Masters. I am right now I'm unemployed. I am a teacher by I'm an unemployed graduate. I studied education at the University of Namibia in Katima Mulilo campus, and I majored in English and mathematics. This really growing up, these two have always been my favorite subjects, and I always did them. I always pass them without much effort. I really put more effort, and then I just made it, especially English. And I figured when I was in high school, I saw that a lot of people struggled mostly in math and in English, and also during my varsity years, most people struggle in math and in English. And me and my team, we decided, me and my friend, we're just talking about how English is such a big factor in our country, and how most of the people don't even get to go to university because of English and math, mostly English. And we we decided, we just, talking, exploring ideas, and then we asked ourselves what can be done about this. How can we improve kids? How can we improve the literacy rate, and how can we improve the literacy rate, and how we can basically improve the learning English of the English language. Sorry, how we can improve the learning of the English language and mathematics. So, and another reason is I genuinely felt like I could not express myself thoroughly. There are times where I want to say something, I have a lot to say in my mind, but I just cannot find the right words. And one of the factors that led to that is a limited vocabulary. And I realized that when you have a limited vocabulary, it refrains you from expressing yourself thoroughly. And so I started just doing my research about that, and I decided to put myself out there in places where I can, in speaking engagement, so I can improve my speaking skills and read more and just increase my vocabulary, learn how to express myself thoroughly. And yeah, and I realized that it's in among a lot of us, a lot of youth, a lot of learners, a lot of students, they cannot express themselves thoroughly. And and if we tend to instill the culture of reading in them through competitions like this with national quiz masters, they can get what is it? They can learn more words and express themselves and just be really knowledgeable. And that is how we're just having talks with my friend, and that is how everything came about. We decided, you know what? How can we improve this by spelling bee, by hosting spelling bee competitions, by hosting math competitions, math quizzes. And then we just started off, by, I don't know how we started off, but we're just exploring ideas, speaking. And then next thing we came up with the name National Quiz Masters. And then we started looking for sponsors here and there. We got rejected everywhere. One rejection that hurts me so much is an organization, or it's something that I called home. I've always been there ever since growing up. I used to attend most of after school activities at that place, and they rejected me. They didn't give me the venue. I'm still hurt for somebody who calls that place home, and they didn't give me a venue. I really felt bad. And then I decided, since we're only two, and there's this African proverb of, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. So I decided to bring in another friend of mine, Serena. And we started just exploring ideas on how we can go about this. And then she led us to a guy that knows, a guy that works in my zone. And then next thing, we are pitching ourselves to Mr. Enzo. Next thing, on the spot, he believed in us, he accepted us, and on the get-go, he wants to be in partnership with us. And I can never forget that moment because it means so much to me. I don't even want to get emotional because it's so rare to find somebody who will believe in you on the get-go. And I'll forever thank Mr. Enzo. Probably doesn't like that. I'll forever thank him for believing in us and just helping us carry out this event. I'll never forget it. It means a lot to me and my team. And today, this is our first event, National Quiz Masters, in collaboration or in partnership with Straight Talk. In collaboration, in partnership with Straight Talk, which is under my zone. And this was our first ever event, and it was a success. Though we have little things that will change next time, I'm still happy with the outcome of everything that happened. Next time we're gonna go bigger and do better things than this. One of our vision is fostering the love for learning in a supportive and competitive environment, like just what we hosted today. We've fostered the love of learning in a supportive where the learners are being supported by their parents and their teachers, and the environment was safe. And our long-term goal is, right now, this is obviously our first event we hosted in my hometown, Ongwediva, and we invited just schools, primary schools in around Ongwediva, just to see how it feels like hosting such an event. And in the long term, obviously, we want to host national events, national competition, where schools from different, first of all, we want to start off with regional. And then once they qualify for regional, they go to the national competition. And then we host a whole big competition in Namibia. And hopefully, one of my biggest dreams that is out of this world is hopefully get candidates that will go through to the Scripps National International Spelling Competition that happens, I think, I'm not sure of the country, but it happens international. So that is my wildest dream about this organization. One of the reasons why we decided to host our event here in the north, in Ongwediva, is basically because nothing really happens around here, especially in the north. Everything else happens in Windhoek. Everything else, just the south down there, everything happens that side, but barely anything this side. So we decided to just host it home and include the learners from this side. And our next event, we want to host it in Zambezi region. I've schooled in Katima Mulilo for 4 years. That's where I did my tertiary education. And during my stay there, I've noticed that very little people don't even want to go there. Very little happens that side. And I just want to give back to give back in Katima for keeping it safe, for for being a resident of Katima for 4 years. Another reason is, growing up, I've always hoped of taking part in such things, and they were barely hosted, and they barely included everyone. And we tried by all means to include as many kids as possible. And and that is why we're reaching out to schools here in the north and here in Ongwediva. And hopefully next time we're gonna go regional and hopefully reach out to all the primary schools. The reason why I decided to go ahead with this, I've always loved English. I've always loved English as a subject. For me, don't do this, but you should study English, okay? Don't be like me. But I can literally go in an exam with studying just probably a little bit and still make it. That is how much I loved English. And yeah, there's just so much more to learn and to explore about the English language. And I wanted to do that through spelling bees, through knowing different words, and through finding new words, exploring words, finding new words about the English language. Yes. I think in today's world, most of the young kids, including us, the youth, we do not know how to spell. We are so used to our smartphones and autocorrect and quickly just Googling a word. We are so dependent on Google and in our phones and autocorrect. And organizations such as this, and also when it comes to children writing essays, they tend to shorten words and mispronounce a lot of words. That I've experienced myself during my teaching internship. The kids really struggle with pronunciation and spelling of words. And organizations such as this, National Quiz Masters, will help learners improve their spelling, improve their pronunciation of words, and just give them that zest, that courage to want to learn more, because we are still fostering the love of learning in a supportive and competitive environment. And what the important part about this is that they are learning, they are growing themselves.
In our final clip today, Michael Kayunde spoke to visual artist Nikanor Shipanga from Windhoek.
My name is Nikanor Shipanga. I grew up in Katutura's Vambo location. I have 4 siblings. I'm the second of 4 children. I attended my primary school at Mandume Primary School and at Namtuni as well. Where I continued my high school at Janjongra Afrikaner High School. And I'm a visual artist. Myself, I was actually a visual artist. I was a visual artist back in, we used to draw pictures back in primary school. We had a class that they called book binding, whereby it was actually intended for other purposes, but then we actually utilized it for arts. So we drew simple pictures. Probably you'll be drawing a bus, you'll be told to draw a bus, or draw a dog, or probably draw a house. But then at a later stage, when I became an adult, I developed a passion for a different area of arts, which was the nature of arts that resemble poetry. So which I started back in 2010 up to this day. It's just something when I got older, it was just a self-motivation on my side to actually start up with. There was no parental or elders' involvement in my arts. I think it was just something by myself, by my own. I started this genre of arts of mine in 2010. And so far I've actually created a number of artworks, spending probably over 30 artworks with different titles. At the moment, I'm actually looking at selling them. Is something that I'm actually looking at. It's not happening at the moment. I'm also looking at exhibiting my works so that I can hopefully in this way they'll go viral, you know. Well, I can't say there are actually any challenges at the moment. There aren't any challenges that I'm facing at the moment. I think it's just something in me. It's just the creativity that is within me that actually inspires me to come up with this genre. I think what inspired me, it was back in 2010 when I was doing a personal development course at Lifeline, Childline, where we were asked to draw a family tree actually, that with its different parts symbolizing the different, members of the family and stuff like that. So that actually sparked some imagination in me that actually led me to come up with these creative ideas in my mind. I've actually realized that arts in Namibia is not valued. It's not really a popular area where one can actually expand into, because a lot of our locals are not interested in arts. I think what we can do is what can be done is actually market the arts more out there, so that because from what I have seen, we do not. There's actually a limited number of folks out there that we actually get in touch with, yes, and that is probably what affects this whole interest in arts. But I think if we market it more out there, to a larger population, then it might probably be it might bring out a positive outcome. Any folks out there that are interested in my artworks can get in touch with me on my Gmail at nikanorpandu@gmail.com, or my contact number 081-203-7391. My final words is just that I'm actually aspiring on becoming owning my own exhibition, on having my own exhibition gallery one day, whereby I will exhibit a much greater artwork out there and to sell my artworks to a larger public.
Thank you for tuning in. If you know of someone you feel should feature on our show, please contact us at brave@synergy.com.na.